Yo, what up YouTube? Welcome back to the How to Get Better at Gibraltar video. Now, if you guys are new to this channel or new to this series, what I like to do is gather a few clips with Gibby and just show off the tactics that you can use in fights and not just using his arm shield or using his bubble and not knowing what else to do after that. There are certain tactics you need to do while you're using those abilities, and I'll be showing those off here. So again, if you guys are new, how I do it is I show the clip. It's like 30-second clip. And then the very next clip is going to be the same clip, but I'm going over it second by second and explaining everything that's going on. I'll be pausing it, rewinding it, and just fully explaining it. That way it helps you guys improve your gameplay, and hopefully you develop kind of like a play style around what I show you guys in these clips. So again, if you guys are new, this kind of helps out from beginner level all the way to kind of pro, so like bronze to pretty much masters. It kind of helps out everybody. So hopefully you guys enjoy, hopefully it helps you out, and see you guys in the video.
All right, was that a fat joke on your house?
That was a very big fat joke.
Throwing some cover for my brothers.
Just big body karate out here, Chief. Alright guys, you just watched. This is how you kind of push a team aggressively that has high ground, and this is how you also climb up on them. Now there's two different ways to approach this. Number one, as you guys watched that other video, is you can throw it right on the object and climb up, and you have a lot of the bubble to work with when you finally climb up. But if they're standing right on the edge, it's kind of hard to do that because they'll be shooting you the entire time you're climbing up. So if that's the case, instead of throwing the bubble like right here, you want to throw the bubble a little bit back some. So the entire time you're climbing up, that bubble is still protecting you until you fully get to that high ground. So you can climb up fully, and by the time you get high ground, they're going to be able to fight you straight up. So you got to be prepared for that and be able to shoot them as well. But you at least know that you're not going to take any damage while you're climbing up. But we took the first option, which was throw the bubble around the object so we have enough room. And this is what you need to do if you use anything but like shotguns. If you use like car, R9, 301, flatline, whatever it is, and you don't like using shotguns that much, or if you don't have a shotgun in your hand like I do in this very moment, is you want to melee them back. For one, I just climbed up. I want to make sure I can set up and get my positioning, but on top of that, I have a car out. So the fact that I knocked him back this far, I'm going to capitalize on that. So I immediately pop out, beam him really quick, switch weapons because there's no time to reload. I still have my shotgun, and shotguns is what you use in the bubble all the time. Or at least you try to, or should be trying to. So I melee him back again, trying to reposition myself. I want to knock him off, but again, when I meleeed, I immediately get in cover because you get stuck in that animation and you can get beamed for free. So as soon as you melee, immediately try to get back in the bubble or the opposite side of what the enemy is, and I went back. And right here is kind of like a mind game set. Whenever you're in a face-off against somebody in the bubble, you want to, a lot of times, a lot of pros and stuff, they stand still and they time it correctly. They either pop out and hit you. If you go out and hit them, they can easily just time that correctly and shoot you. So this is what that is. It is a lot of timing, kind of playing a mind game on them and hitting them when they least expect it. And I hit them for a clean 101. And now it's just about chasing and just finishing the kill. But also with that bubble, as you all just saw, when I finally go down, if I had to at any point, I still had enough room in the bubble to fight this building in. So that bubble was not just to push high ground, but if I need to get down, I can still play all sides of the bubble as well, even inside the building. So hopefully that kind of helped out with pushing people high ground. And also a good tip for if you use cars R9s is to melee people out. And if you get that, separate that distance and they actually get launched back a little far, like with your melee, beam them. Just pop out and beam them really quick. And that's why I highly recommend always meleeing in the bubble. It still works even after that nerf. I promise you guys, because I still use it every fight, and I use it this fight, and it works really well. They're low ground as well. No, they're not. Great flow.
Come on.
My thermite on this door. Give me down.
Crack one.
Great gone. Bang gone. Alright guys, just watched perfect bubble fight, but I want to explain my placement of the bubble and why I want to place it where I did. So I hit him for 96, I back up, I place it down, and the reason I place it down right there is so I know when this door is open or broken, I'm able to still enter this building, have a little bit of protection when I enter the building, and treat it kind of like a door. So a lot of people don't think about it this way, but treat the bubble, like the whole outside the bubble, kind of like a door or like a wall peak. And that's pretty much what a bubble is. It's just constantly peeking back and forth. So I want to use this as like a peak when I finally get there, and if I ever get to that point, which I do. So I throw a thermite grenade down because teammate did scan, and the Gibby was the furthest one away. He still hasn't came up yet. So also what this bubble does is it gives me enough room to fight this Gibby one-on-one. So I threw the thermite right there so I can have this advantage of a 1v. As soon as I hit him, I pop out immediately. So I don't take any damage at all. So I get a free shot on him. Back up, I hit him. And as soon as I hit him, I start crouching. That's why he barely hits me right here. So when you're on the outside, you go back in. You know, when you strafe, if you just stand up and you go back in, let's say your head's here and you're going back in and out. Well, when you crouch, instead of like standing up, going in, if you start crouching as you're going in, you actually get in a lot sooner. So if you go right here, standing up, but if you start going in, you actually get it in the bubble a lot sooner than you would standing up. So that's why I crouch a lot of the times. As soon as I take a shot, I crouch as I go in the bubble, as you see here, and that's why I take less damage by doing that, because it's a really fast shot, and I crouch as soon as I go back in it. So people that don't like crouch spamming that much with Gibby because it really has no effect, do it while bubble fighting. It helps out a lot, I promise you, especially getting in the bubble a lot faster since it is a dome shape and it's not straight up and down. So I immediately push to the other side, and again, when it comes to bubble fighting, you do not want to stand in the middle. So you want to go on the other side that you want to fight in as soon as possible, or rotate around the bubble, but you always want to be on the outside edge at all times. And I'm able to capitalize, help out my teammates. I cracked the Wraith and I cracked the Bangalore, all in like a smooth motion, as if you would call it that. Because when you start bubble fighting, you get a nice feel of the bubble, and you're able to go in and out and hit your shots perfectly. So that's why I recommend using shotguns, PKs, because you start to get a nice rhythm going with the bubble. And a good tip is always stay on the outside edge of the bubble. And when you go back in from being outside, you want to start crouching as you're taking those shots, because you get in the bubble a lot sooner and take less damage, of course. So hopefully that helped you out with bubble fighting.
Dude, what the fuck, man? Alright, another team.
Pride. Good shit.
The Valkyrie team, the other team's running away.
I stuck him.
I'm coming.
99 on Valk. 99 Valk. They're both weak. Good shit. One of them has sulfurs. One on that team has sulfurs. Outside. See? Good shit.
Alright, quick story around what happened in this clip, and you're probably wondering why our teammate didn't help us the entire time. Well, he was actually being a decoy. So he was back here behind a rock taking a lot of shots from this team. So Blastoise and I could freely just go around this whole point right here, all the way around to we got the staircase, so we can easily flank this team. I do this a lot with Gibby. This time I finally did it with a teammate, and it worked out really well. So that's why he wasn't in the fight, is because he was taking the main focus from his team, so we can get this flank going, so we can take this this good advantage. So immediately rush in. We find the Wraith off guard. We knocked her, and I immediately throw a bubble. So I like throwing bubble right off the knock, especially when the other two teammates are still up. We know they're going to push, and we're really good at bubble fighting. So teammate, no shield. I have half shield down. Gibby rushes us. I immediately just get him out of the bubble. How to do that? Of course, just melee him out. Create that distance. I was going to throw Arcstar on the ground. I saw him running back in, and it's extremely predictable. You have to be like non-predictable while you're fighting the bubble. I seen him running straight in. I know he's going to commit to going in, and that's why I was able to stick him right there. I stuck him. I go to this side to see if the Valk was flanking. No one was flanking. I didn't know the legend at this time, but again, I know it's a Valk because after the fact. But I was making sure they didn't flank us from behind. All clear, so I went to help my teammate out again. He hit the Valk pretty hard. I hit it for 77, so he hit it for 99. I hit it for 77. And right here, I don't have enough room to play on the bubble from my side. They have the bubble on their side, but I saw this doorway. Like I explained in the last video, or the last clip of my explanation, treat bubbles like doorways and like hallways. And, you know, right here, I have an actual doorway to still fight in. And they have a narrow, like, pathway to actually shoot me. So that when they go to shoot me, they're kind of overlapping their shots and they're shooting each other because of the little bit of space they have to work with. So I take advantage of that. And it's kind of hard to miss the shotgun shots because, again, no space to work with. And they have this little spot to shoot me, and I can easily capitalize on that. So I hit one, and then I hit the other one, and now it's all about thirsting all of them and seeing who has the knockdown.
One of them has sulfurs. One on that team has
I shield swap like a bot lord, and that way, because if we get third party, I have the shield swap, and we just finish that fight. So it was a really good flank that we did, and again, we capitalized by bubbling right off the first knock and able to bubble fight the next two, which we did really well. So that was a fun little engagement right there. Got bloodhound.
Throwing some cover for my brother.
She's one.
Reloading.
All right, so this is kind of similar to the last clip, as y'all just watched, is I pretty much get the knock and I throw a bubble right on the knock. So this is another flank. I get a knock, throw a bubble off of it, and their teammates focus me. This is what pretty much happens every time. If you're able to get that flank, you knock somebody, try to bubble on top of that or bubble somewhere around it, because their teammates are going to rush you immediately and kind of play a little bit where they don't think, and you're able to capitalize on it, get a lot of damage, and your teammates are able to come in from behind and hit them as well. So you kind of sandwich them in kind of like a third party in a way, but with your own teammates. So to show you guys again, it's really good the flank gets Gibby. He has that bubble. He doesn't really have to escape. If you get that knock bubble fight afterwards, and you're good to go. So a knock at the bubble. He's just running there as fast as he possibly can because his teammate just got down. And I crack him for 99. I melee him back. So the reason why I melee him back right there, I didn't think I was going to knock him, but I don't have shotguns, and the best thing to do is create that distance if you don't have a shotgun in the bubble, like the first video you guys saw. So I melee him back so I can beat him again, but the melee actually knocked him. But this is the thing to do. My teammates were able to capitalize and get that guy really low, and we just pretty much moved on the whole team pretty much for the simple fact that I was able to flank, knock one, and made the other one aggressive, and my teammates were able to actually get this guy low as well. So it's a good thing to do is to flank your enemies, and if you get that knock, capitalize off it with the bubble, and you should be setting up for your teammates to pretty much be able to help you out as soon as you get that first knock. So it's a good way to kind of so-called third party, but flanking with Gibby is probably one of the best characters to do it with, as y'all to see right there. If you get that knock, bubble, because with Wraith or someone like that tries to get a knock, they can knock and they just phase out, and they're no longer in the fight, and they come back to help. With Gibby, you can get the knock, and you can stay in that fight immediately. So I highly recommend it.
Rain down some destruction.
Bloodhound's in here like an idiot. He's getting punished for it. Punish him for it. He's down. Wraith on me. 72. She's one. She's really low now.
Good shit, boys.
Alright, as y'all just watched, I'm gonna give a little backstory from this video. Is we pretty much just fought a team, and this is the reason why I throw my ult. We just fought a team. A team is coming up. We could hear them, so I immediately ult to force them inside the building. And if they're outside, they kind of pretty much have to stay outside or get hit by it. So that's why I throw my ult the way I did. And now I have a 1v1 against Bloodhound. And again, I hit him with the hipfire, and then I start ADSing to pretty much protect myself. And I know I have a shield swap as soon as I knock him. And in these kind of close range fights, when you have a PK as Gibby, you should not be losing these, especially if you have full health. I'm able to get the shield swap off, and I go ahead and reload my shotgun because I want my shotgun in this fight. Because again, one teammate down, and my other teammate only has a shield pretty much. So I have to make sure I'm as healthy as possible. I throw a bubble, and again, when it comes to throwing the bubble, you want to fight on the outside edge. And the fastest way to do that is slide jump to the other side, which is exactly what I do. Is I want to get to the edge as quickly as possible so I can have this fight, because you don't want to be stuck in the middle of it. So as soon as he comes in, I'm able to hit him for 73, 72, hit him for 45, and I'm hip firing because I just want to hurry up and get this fight over with. I melee him back because my teammate's finally here to help. And I create that distance because she was right on top of me the entire time. And that's what you want to do. With those melees, you want to create this distance so they can back up some. So he capitalized on the Wraith. Again, when I was calling out the damage the entire time, I made sure that the Wraith was pretty much the one being called out. And he knew that. So now it's just focusing the Bangalore. And this is one of those things that when you start being a bot lord, which everyone does it, I just start hitting for a 9. I whiffed. And I start meleeing instead. Because I don't have that many shots left. And I'm whiffing on top of it. So the best thing to do, the best way to help out your teammate, is to start meleeing them. Because it stuns the person shooting. And it pretty much gives your teammate a good opportunity just to laser them while they're kind of stunned or standing still or slapped against the wall. Which is pretty much what happened. Really low now. So again, I hit a 9, I missed, and I was like, screw it, let me start meleeing, and my teammate's able to get a lot of shots in, and I help follow him up when the dude's run out of ammo and he's trying to run out of the bubble. Again, that's one reason why you don't want to be caught fighting in the middle of the bubble, is because teammate and I were able to beam the dude, and he tried to get out, and he didn't get out fast enough because he was stuck in the middle of the bubble, and he got punished for it. So that Bangalore right there is a great example of why you should never be inside the bubble, because you can simply get punished by this. And again, if you start missing your shots, everyone does it with the PK. And if you have a teammate there next to you, start meleeing. Tell your teammate you're going to melee them so they know they can just pretty much hit them as soon as they get melee, because they're pretty much going to get stopped in one spot for a little bit, and your teammate can beam them. So that has to do it with this whole video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this was really helpful for y'all. A lot of these clips had to do with bubble fighting and pretty much flanking and stuff like that. And that's what I like to do with a lot of these clips. I like to show that you can still flank as Gibby, and I like to show multiple videos of that. And pretty much you want to bubble off the knock, especially when you flank. Bubbling off the first knock is always huge to do, because you should be really comfortable with bubble fighting. And if you're not, I highly recommend no filling duos as a solo. It really helps you prepare to fight multiple enemies at the same time. So when you normally flank and you knock one, normally you can be fighting the other two immediately. So it kind of prepares you for that. And again, when you're fighting in the bubble, make sure you're always on the edge. Never stand in the middle, because you're going to get absolutely punished for it, especially being a big body. And then when you're going from outside to inside the bubble, make sure you're trying to crouch as you're going in, because you get in the bubble a lot sooner and you take less damage if they're shooting you at that time. So you get a shotgun shot off, and they're trying to as well, and you're crouching as you go in. They're only going to hit you with a few pellets rather than all of the pellets. So that's a good way to keep in mind. Again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it's really helpful. In the comments below, let me know what helped you out the most. Let me know what you really didn't know from this video and what you learned from this video, and it kind of helps me make these videos and know what to focus on when I make these clips and stuff like that. So I appreciate all the love and support. Again, hopefully this helped out, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.